Good Sunday, good Sunday, good Sunday. It's I, your Reverend, with the DP Ministries. Your Reverend Rackers is here, folks. Never fear, never fear. The Reverend Rackers is here. Had a good night last night, folks. Got to preach to a large congregation, live and in person at the Thirsty Hog. Those videos will be up later today, after the Reverend gets off work. That's right, the Reverend's got to work on the Sabbath again. But you know what to say? You know what to say. No rest for the wicked. No rest for the Reverend. So first, I'd like to say, you got to give a shout out to them St. Louis Cardinals. Going 2-0 so far in the NLCS. We're going to bring home number 12, folks. Bringing home number 12. We got a win by the MU Tigers yesterday. Makes them 6-0 in the SEC. Well, I think they're 3-0 in the SEC, or 2-0. But 6-0 on the season. That's good shit. Much better departure from last year. And today, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs going to be 6-0 when they beat down those Oakland Raiders. Go Chiefs. Now the Reverend was a little short on topics this week. Had a pretty good week at work, so couldn't really bitch about that. So he goes to the congregation. The Reverend said, congregation. They said, what? The Reverend said, congregation. They said, what? I said, I'd like to take some questions for you. I'd like to hear your ideas. I want to know what you want to know about. So Jordan, the guitar shredder Scrubulous, asked the Reverend. He said, Reverend. I said, what? He said, Reverend. I said, what? He said, could you imagine if everybody in the world talked like Barry White? I said, Jordan. He said, what? And I just started laughing my ass off. Just picture it, folks. Everybody standing around, you know, let's say you're hanging out with your lady. Instead of just being like, hey, you want to go upstairs? You're like, baby, oh, baby, let's go upstairs so I can make sweet love to you, baby. I said, baby, do you want to watch a movie tonight? I said, baby, do you want to go to a show and dinner tonight? That'd be awesome, folks. Just like that. You'd have to sing, too, just like Barry White. It's like, I want to make sweet love to your woman. Oh, yeah. That shit would be hilarious. I think, y'all think it's hilarious, too. So thank you, Jordan, for that question. And Mr. Rodell follows up that question with, why do people listen to shitty dubstep music when they could be listening to Iron Maiden? That's a good-ass question. See, because dubstep music is crap, and it's noise, and it sucks, it's bad. It's like, I don't know, some Jersey Shore shit. You're just sitting there like, and then there's like one word, like electric, electric. Shit sucks, folks. But Iron Maiden, double guitar work, guitar harmonies, the amazing vocals by Bruce Dickinson. I mean, if you're going to listen to some metal and you're not necessarily into metal, I think you'd like Iron Maiden. Now, you ask why people listen to it over Maiden, and it's simple. People are stupid. Now, yeah, well, people are stupid. But there's also a reason. You can't really take ecstasy and listen to Iron Maiden. You just don't feel it as much as you feel dubstep, I guess. If you're going to, listen to dubstep, you got to be on ecstasy or, ketamine or whatever, some of them club drugs, I don't know. The Reverend's not really into that shit. Never was into club drugs. So, thank you, Jordan Rodell, Jordan Scrupulous, Jordan the Shredder, Jordan Inspector Gadget. Thank you, Jordan. Now, second, Erin Anderson, Ernie herself, asked the Reverend. She said, Reverend. I said, what? She said, Reverend. I said, what? She said, why is God a do-as-I-say God? Why does he do as I say, not as I do? Well, first of all, Aaron, that puts me in a predicament. Because I have to talk about somebody that I think is made up now. I don't believe in God, as you know. I'm an atheist. I'm happy as an atheist. Don't believe in organized religion. Don't believe in God. Don't believe in your Jesus. You know, I believe we're all out there on our own, doing our own thing. But, to tackle your question, I would say that just like any other shitty parent with bad rules, you know, when you know that shitty rule when your parents like, don't do that. And you're like, why? And they're like, because I said so. You always know a shitty rule when it's because I said so. When there's no real reason behind it. Like, for example, in the Ten Commandments, do not murder. Okay, perfect. That's perfect. I understand why we can't murder people. But then he gets all jealous and kind of grandiose a little bit. And he's like, don't worship any other idols than me. Well, what if they got some good ideas and I like your ideas? I can't listen to both? You'd think you'd be happy with me just being a good person. But no. No. Don't worship any other idols than me. Why? Because I said so. See, it's like it's because he's a bad parent. He's basically, if he's here, has given up on all of us. And if he isn't here, y'all need to figure that shit out and start becoming atheists like me. So, Aaron, why is God as I do as I say, not as I do, God? He's a bad parent. Plain and simple. Now the Reverend was at Walmart again. This actually happened about a month or so ago. I was at the West End Walmart in Jeff City. And it was after 10 o'clock. And I got all my groceries. I'm going to I got my cart, pushing my cart. Gotta push the Reverend's cart. If you want to be the Reverend's cart pusher, there's a spot open for you. Usually Skylar pushes the cart, but sometimes she doesn't go to the store with me, and then I gotta push my own. You know, it's no good. So, I'm there late, pushing my cart, get up to the front, look around. There's nobody checking anybody out. Like, no lanes are open. And I'm like, fuck. I guess this shit's free. As it turns out, it was not free, folks. After like 10 o'clock at Walmart on the west end of Jeff City, you have to check yourself out in their self-checkout. No matter how many items you have, you gotta check your own shit out. Now, I was unaware that at 10 o'clock on a weekday, I worked at Walmart. I was unaware of that. So apparently, I'm there checking my shit out. I look over. There are 3 cashiers standing at the little self-checkout thing just talking. Why couldn't 2 of those people be running lanes? Why? Why couldn't 2 of you be running lanes? The next time I'm at Walmart and they tell me I'm on self-checkout, I'm just going to take my groceries outside. I'm not going to bag them. I'm just going to wheel them out the front door. And then if I get stopped, I'm going to be like, hey, I waited in line for 20 minutes. No one came to check me out. I wanted to give you money, but no one wanted to take it. So I figured my groceries were free at this point. shit out myself. I don't work for you, Walmart. But, you know, most of us really do work for corporations like that. So, I mean, I do pay them my money. So I guess maybe I kind of work for Walmart. Yeah, anyway. The government is shut down still, folks. It's still shut down. And it's starting to piss the Reverend off. It's not starting. The Reverend's pissed off. He's sick of the fucking government. We need to rise up and take our country back. When I preached last night, I found so many like-minded folks. The Reverend's thinking about getting his own church to preach at, so people can actually come and see the Reverend, feel the Reverend. Could be awesome, folks. But anyway, government's still shut down. And you know what's some bullshit they're putting? The Vietnam Memorial is shut down. And it's being guarded. They've got gates, guards and shit. Now, isn't this counteractive? You're paying people to guard some shit that they could literally just go walk up to and see and then leave. Now, they got the Vietnam Memorial closed to everybody. Our veterans can't go see it. That's some bullshit. But you know what was open? The Federal Mall in D.C. opened its gate so illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, illegals, could protest at that mall. So let me get this straight. We can let a bunch of illegal aliens knowingly protest at the Federal Mall, but we can't let our Vietnam vets go see their own damn memorial? All I can do is shake my head on that, folks. That's all I can do is shake my motherfucking head. It's some bullshit. Some straight up bullshit. And if there are a bunch of illegals in one spot, why couldn't the INS be there and deport them motherfuckers? Huh? Fuck. You had a chance. We were all right here. You'd have been like, hey, everybody get in this truck. I got some projects at home for you to do. And then just fucking drive them back. Now, a lot of you don't know that this government shutdown is affecting a lot of stuff. One thing it's going to start affecting is the National Weather Service. The National Weather Service is open right now, and they're not being paid. Just like the CIA, just like the FBI, these people are they're working, but they're not being paid. Well, the National Weather Service predicts all the weather for us. I know we have weather stations and news and shit, but they get all their shit fed from the National Weather Service. Now, when the National Weather Service runs out of supplies, they're not going to be able to order anymore, folks. Which means when they run out of weather balloons and all their other shit that they use to predict the weather, and there's more to predict in the weather than just looking at the radar map. They actually send balloons up, weather balloons, and they, predict wind speeds and temperature and this and that, what kind of clouds. And there's a lot of shit that goes on to predicting weather that may or may not actually show up. So when they run out, and it's going to happen soon, they're not going to be able to predict the weather with the stunning accuracy that they normally do. Now, you know what that means, folks? That means that the HARP program, the weather control program, can be in full effect. And we won't know whether there's going to be tornadoes or 4 foot of snow or earthquakes or nothing. They're not going to be able to predict anything weather-wise. I guess earthquakes aren't weather. It's a plate tectonic thing, but this winter is already said to be the worst we're going to ever have. And now we're not going to be able to predict what's going to happen. That is perfect for the HARP program. We're going to be buried under snow, folks. And if you're not prepared, you're going to end up in one of the billion FEMA bought 1 billion caskets. And now that I know that we're not going to be able to predict the weather, I think a lot of us are going to end up in those caskets. A lot of us. So you need to start canning. You need to start buying canned goods, water. You need to start protecting yourself, folks. Because some shit's going to get hairy. Some shit is going to go down, folks. Believe the Reverend, you can take that shit to the bank. It's going to get bad before it gets better. So again, I'd like to thank Philip, Luke, and the repeat offenders for having the Reverend out last night. I'm going to touch on what we just talked about. Everybody talking like Barry White. It should be hilarious. Iron Maiden rules. Dubstep sucks. Thank you, Jordan. God is just a bad parent. Aaron Anderson. I do not work at Walmart. I will not check myself out. And we need to rise up and take this country back. Good Sunday. Good talk.